At first, we struggled to find any games we both liked. Sixer wasn't too keen on outdoor activities as much as I was. I was okay with it though. We would just hang out over at my place a lot. I even got a cat that resembled Sixer a lot. Her name was Tack, admittedly not a very good name per se, but we liked it at the time. We spent eating and chatting about all sorts of things about our lives, our hobbies. Sixer borrowed my notebook so they could form their thoughts more easily. We'd talk for hours until we got too tired and slept on the floor. It was fun. At one point, while I was preparing to head to a big party that was coming up, I was surprised by Sixer writing about wanting to come with me. Overjoyed, I gave them a hug and we drove as fast as we could to the venue. The Iron Cafe was as lively as ever. Folks from all around having the time of their lives as we both entered the scene. I held Sixer's hand gently as I showed her around, getting snacks and sodas as we enjoyed the scene, even if Sixer was a bit uneasy at first. The music was lively, the food was good, it was a nice time. I stayed by her side for most of the night, not wanting to make them feel overwhelmed. Even if others were scared or uneasy about Sixer, they ignored it. We shared a couple of waltzes as my favorite song came on. I had a great time with them. When the music quieted down as the party came to a close, both of us were pretty tired, so I let Sixer drive us back to my place. We slept for a long while that day. It became a regular thing for me to see Sixer at my doorstep almost every other day now. We basically did whatever with most of our time. I got them to try out some of my spare clothes while Sixer taught me a little bit of sign language. Still rusty on it though. Sixer also found some of my old gear from my vast hobbies back in the day. Old dodgeball, gear, rusty skateboard helmets, works. I got them to try it out, and we started hanging out more often. Dodgeball, paintball, skating. We'd do all sorts of things whenever we could. It was ecstatic getting to enjoy something with them. Even if I've played some of these before, Sixer held their own with or against me in competitive games. They seemed so relieved they could be someone who isn't that myth. Someone who isn't a hacker or beast. Our bond slowly grew as we continued to play and have all sorts of fun. Laughing, playing, goofing around. Just me and my best friend. Me and Sixer. Sixer and me. But over time, I started to notice their attitude change. They became more competitive, more agitated whenever she lost. This change worried me a little as often. This attitude made her lose more often than before. She started to look more disappointed or agitated whenever we headed home after a game. I tried telling them that it was all in good fun, but they remained still. Whenever there was a leaderboard or hangout sessions, she'd often stare at both of me and their own names. Their fists clenched tight. I don't know what they were thinking at the time, but after a particularly heavy loss, she disappeared. I didn't hear from them for a while. The day he came back, they suddenly started to get way better at a lot of things. They were much faster, stronger than before. I could immediately tell. They looked really happy to be able to catch up to me. We were normally at the top of leaderboards together. I wanted to be happy for them, but their ways their eyes looked at me whenever they won made me worried. Crimson red eyes which stared through me. Over time, that's when I finally realized what was happening to them. They had been relying on what looked like an injector or script this whole time. Its red color, bright as Sixer, kept using it. What was was once a way to catch up to me, it became like a necessity to them, like a vice they were unable to part with. I desperately wanted to say something, but I didn't want to ruin what we had. It was changing them. That rumor she hated, it was becoming a reality. The name often caused leaderboards to glitch or spaz out, and stuff like doors to become broken and disintegrated. I wanted to keep her on a low profile, but often failed in doing so. Their reliance grew over time, leading to others noticing. Began to try and hide parts of their body too. Parts of their torso looked like they were made of solidified code. Their right arm had become a dark, glitchy mess. It was horrifying. My best friend had changed in front of me. From a quiet yet kind-hearted friend to someone who couldn't let go of something that was actively hurting them. It felt like something overtook their mind. It was horrible. I should have told them to stop sooner. My breaking point was hearing their voice through their device for the first time. Although it was raspy and heavily filtered, they spoke to me. The problem was how badly it affected Sixer's body. Every word that came out of their mouth caused the visible patches of code to shift and grow. Overwhelmed, I confronted Sixer on the same seashore where I met them. They were there first, staring at the sea. I spoke first. I said it shakily, my fists clenched as I saw them. I called out to them. They had to give it up. They needed to give it up. My voice was clear. I told Sixer about how the script needed to be gone, as it was only worsening their body at this rate. I didn't want to see them like this. The horrible rumor of a violent exploiter was becoming real. Sixer stared at me, shocked. They eventually began closing this distance between us. Hands or claws clenched tightly as they kept their voice steady. They tried to explain to me how they desperately needed it. It helped find their own name, how undeserving they were of this world. They thought I would be proud that they had found their own identity without me or the myths. Proud that I could finally talk to them. Hearing all of that, I acted without thinking. I yelled at them as loud as I could, my voice rising as an overwhelming anger took over my entire body. I told them that he was selfish, that our script was killing them. Even if they could talk to me, I couldn't bear to see my best friend hurt like this. I couldn't just let my best friend, my only friend, throw themselves away like this. I didn't want to lose them. I couldn't. But it felt like my words fell on deaf ears as they kept pacing towards me. I kept yelling. Tears started to stream down my eyes. I said that fairness didn't matter. They would just end up a horrible mess on the floor when I saw them the next day. And I couldn't bear to lose them like this. Their gaze was cold and horrifying as they looked me in the eyes. Before I could say anything else, they grabbed me by the shirt, their grip firm, their eyes staring right through me. It was horrifying. I could feel their claws nearly ripping the fabric. At first, I had become frozen in place, my body shaking as I was held up high. But my words grew louder with their attempts to talk right back at me. Our constant back and forth drowned out the world around us. I squirmed under the grass, but made me lift off the sand as I kept yelling at them to stop, to just let me go. I even began hitting their hand repeatedly as an attempt to break free. But I was only pulled out of it when their fist struck me right in the face. Everything went dark so quickly. Sixer dropped me to the sand as I felt the pain on my face, slowly starting to get up as I felt a loud ringing in my ears. face bruised as I looked up at them. Sixer's expression mirrored mine, an expression of shock and regret meshed together. Tears formed in my eyes as I slowly got up from the ground, voice unsteady. That was it. That was the last straw. I told them to never talk to me again, my voice shaky and cold. At that moment, I wanted nothing to do with them. Nothing they said now could change my mind. I stared at them, trying not to choke up as I wept. The ocean tide beginning to pick back up as I walked away, leaving them behind. She yelled at me as I left, but that horrible voice I heard wasn't theirs. The static and noise overtaking whatever words they had said as they tried to get my attention. I didn't turn back. October 1st, 2017. I haven't seen them since that fateful day. Guest 666. My best friend.